Are you somebody who loves spy movies, James Bond, Bourne Supremacy, spy television shows? Well, in this video, I'm going to be recommending you 5 of my favorite spy books of all time. This is nonfiction, fiction, spy novels, covers the entire range of storytelling, of spy storytelling. The new James Bond video game is around the corner, so if you are interested in that world, this is a perfect time to jump into some of the best, most iconic literature out there. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more book recommendation videos. Be sure to comment what your favorite spy fiction, spy nonfiction out there is, espionage, exciting storytelling, what you love about the genre. Be sure to leave a comment below. Okay, we're going to start here with number 5 for me, The Bourne Identity by Robert Ludlum. So these books are about Jason Bourne, a spy who wakes up not remembering who he is, the story behind why he is so skilled with guns and with weapons. He knows how to basically knock the crap out of people inherently, and lo and behold, he uncovers this wide-ranging conspiracy spy plot to have him attempt to assassinate a world leader. He's trained by this organization called Treadstone. They turned it into a number of great movies with Matt Damon, but these books are great page-turners, great beach reads, great casual reads. If you're somebody who's not much of a reader and you're looking for something that's just a really easy book to breeze through, all of these Robert Ludlum books are. The first 3 in the series are all by him. Subsequently, there are 2 other writers kind of took over the series and they kind of go off the rails. I appreciate these books for what they are. They're not great sort of literary feats. They're incredible beach reads. They're really easy, sort of breezy reads. And if you're not somebody who's super well versed in the genre, this is kind of a great entry point for you there. So that's The Bourne Identity by Robert Ludlum. Next up, number 4 for me, the only nonfiction book on this list, The Traitor and the Spy by Ben McIntyre. This is a book about a high-ranking Soviet official in the KGB who was feeding British intelligence information throughout the Cold War, and it's an incredible page-turning read. It really delves into the human cost of real-life espionage. It feels as good as any James Bond movie. The story is incredible. The fact that it is true just makes it all the better. And it just is a very quick, breezy read. I've both read this one and listened to the audiobook. Both of them really just move very quickly. Again, if you're somebody who maybe you don't want to dive into fiction, this is a great entry point for you into the spy genre. It just feels like a movie, the way that the story moves. It ultimately culminates in one of the most daring exfiltration actions in the history of espionage, where they're trying to get this ex-KGB officer out of the Soviet hands and back into the UK so that we can sort of figure out what his deal was and protect this guy who offered so many life-saving pieces of information for the spies during the Cold War. Next up, Day of the Jackal by Frederick Forsyth. They turned this into a really good Peacock television series last year with Eddie Redmayne. It's sort of a modern adaptation of this older book. This book was written in the 60s. It's about a spy/assassin who is contracted to kill the French president, and this cat and mouse game between a law enforcement officer who is tasked with tracking down this assassin called the Jackal. Another fast, breezier read, but also it is dated, so it's a little bit more literary than some of the other more modern breezy reads, as I like to call them. It is a very good book. The story itself is wide-ranging, very international, which I think is a fun part of these spy storytelling pieces of fiction. You see France, you see all over the world as these globe-trotting assassins and law enforcement are in their cat and mouse game all around Europe. So again, a more dated story here, but one that really moves, one that is iconic, and there's a reason that this has been adapted a number of times, including most recently last year with the great Eddie Redmayne adaptation on Peacock. Number 2, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy by John le Carré. This guy is the father of modern spy fiction. This is as literary as they come in terms of spy fiction. It is like a very dense book at times. It's kind of confusing at times. A lot of characters, a lot of storylines, a lot of relationships, but a wonderful book. It took me a couple times to get into this one. It's about a former retired spy who's pulled back in to identify a high-ranking British intelligence officer who is feeding the KGB information about the British intelligence service, and ultimately resulting in the deaths of a number of high-profile operatives over the course of time. It is George Smiley as the character. He is the subject of a number of other John le Carré novels, spy novels. An iconic character, a great movie that was made a number of years ago that you can also check out if you're interested in it, but well worth your time. There's a reason it's my number 2. It is a bit denser, and that's probably what keeps it from being number 1, but if you do get through this one, if you can push through, it is such a rewarding experience and well worth your time. Okay, number 1 for me is a modern masterpiece, The Slow Horses series by Mick Herron. 9 books in this series. It follows this group of cast-outs who have been shunned basically from British intelligence and sent to this house run by Jackson Lamb, a sort of disgraced former spy who did a lot of body burying for the British intelligence service, which has allowed him to have this own little dominion where he has all these rejects and who are not really supposed to be doing much actual spy work, but somehow find themselves frequently in the midst of life and death spy situations. These books are hilarious. They're so well written. They are, to me, some of the best, like most perfect modern fiction because they're both smart, intelligent, and they move really well. They're not really taking themselves very seriously, and I love the humor throughout this, but they're also, like, the plots are also complex and densely serious at the same time. There is a lot of backstabbing, a lot of twists that you just don't see coming. Nobody is safe in these books, and that's part of why I love it. It's also an incredible series on Apple TV+, so if you are interested in watching after each book, I think that's a really rewarding experience, and I really look forward to that every year. I'm done with the books now. I think the 9th book was one of the best in the entire series, so they just keep getting better to some degree, so well worth your time, and you'll spend a lot of time reading through these if you do love the Slow Horses series as much as I do. Okay, so that does it for our top 5, but a couple of other books I sort of recommend in this same genre. One of them being the Ian Fleming James Bond novels. These are sort of breezier reads as well. I find them very dated, but they are worthwhile if you are interested in spy fiction because they are kind of like, again, the forefront of so much of spy fiction. They're not nearly as zany as the movies ultimately became, but they are very intelligent, very well written, and Ian Fleming was a talented writer. He had a real espionage background, which he drew upon in these books in a way that I think really, really works even now, all these years later. There's a reason that he essentially created one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic, members of the spy fiction genre in the history of time, of modern media, and there's a reason why James Bond has stood that test of time. These books are well worth your time if you're interested in going back and checking them out. Also, The Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy, another Cold War era sort of action-y thriller book. I hesitate to really call it a true spy espionage thriller, but it's more of kind of like a political action thriller. Worth your time, though. Again, a very good book. This is kind of what blew up Tom Clancy's career. The success of this book and the subsequent movie adaptation made him into the pseudo-star that he is now with the video game adaptations and movie adaptations and television show adaptations. So again, another one worth checking out if you breeze through this list and you're like, more, check out The Hunt for Red October. Finally, let's talk Bridge of Spies, a movie that was made into an Academy Award-winning movie with Tom Hanks a couple of years ago. This is a book about one of the most sort of rife with drama prisoner exchanges in the history of the Cold War, and you have this sort of elaborate sort of situation where the two highly valued targets are ultimately traded over this bridge in Berlin. And it is sort of a metaphorical encapsulation of the cloak and dagger world of espionage that was going on throughout the Cold War, and just how sort of shady this whole operation was. And you have this American spy officer who is sent over there. You'll find that most of the book recommendations I have here have been adapted into movies or television shows, and there's a reason for that. Most of these stories are just really that compelling that they sort of jump off the page, and most of them I think are better than the movie adaptation. So worth checking out, and then you have this extra sort of layer where you can go and see the movie and see how they compare. So if you are interested in spy fiction, in spy nonfiction, all these books really fall into this world. And for now, remember to subscribe to this channel for more book recommendation videos. Comment what your favorite spy book is below. Until later, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye now.